go.
Hi, I'm Amber Runnels, and today we are reading A Piece of Cake by LeUyen Pham. A piece of cake. It was Little Bird's birthday. Mouse, who was a very kind mouse, made her a cake. He worked the whole morning through and used up everything in his pantry. Mouse began to walk to Little Bird's home. On the way, he met Chicken sitting with all her eggs. "Hello, Chicken," said Mouse. Chicken said, "Yummers, that's one tasty looking cake." "Hey, Mouse, could I have some? If you give me a piece of that cake, I'll trade you a cork." "A cork? Sure! Just think of all the things that you can use it for." Mouse didn't think Little Bird would need a cork, but Mouse was a very kind mouse. Surely Little Bird would not mind if I gave Chicken some of her cake. So Mouse traded one piece of cake for the cork and went on his way. Next, Mouse met Squirrel, who was gathering nuts. "Hello, Squirrel," said Mouse. Squirrel said, "Gadzooks, that's one tasty looking cake. Mouse, old buddy, how about giving me some? If you give me a piece of cake, I'll trade you a wire." "A wire? Oh yeah, just think of all the things that you can do with a wire." Mouse couldn't imagine that Little Bird would need a wire. But Mouse was a very kind mouse. Surely Little Bird would not mind if I gave Squirrel some of her cake. So Mouse traded one piece of cake for the wire and went on his way. Soon Mouse met Bear, surrounded by many pots of honey. "Hello, Bear," said Mouse. Bear said, "Wowzers, that's one tasty looking cake. Mouse, my fine fellow, would you mind giving me some? If you give me a piece of cake, I'll trade you a net." "A net? Sure, a net. You can always use a net, I tell you." Mouse was sure that Little Bird would not need a net, but Mouse was a very kind mouse. Surely Little Bird would not mind if I gave Bear some of her cake. So Mouse traded one piece of cake for the net and went on his way. Farther on, Mouse met Cow, who was surrounded by bottles of milk. "Hello, Cow," said Mouse. Cow said, "Holy cow, that cake looks good. Mouse, my dear, may I have some? If you give me a piece of cake, I'll trade you a fly swatter." "A fly swatter?" "Yep, a fly swatter. Nothing more useful than a fly swatter." Mouse knew that Little Bird would not want a fly swatter, but Mouse was a very kind mouse. Surely Little Bird would not mind if I shared some cake with Cow. So Mouse traded the last piece of cake for the fly swatter and went on his way. Finally, he reached Little Bird's house. "Oh, Little Bird, I wanted to bring you a cake for your birthday, but I traded the pieces of cake for a cork, a wire, a net, and a fly swatter. I would make you another cake, but I've used up everything in my pantry. I'm so sorry." But Little Bird, who was a very clever bird, said, "Oh, but Mouse, these are wonderful presents. Come with me and I'm sure we'll find a use for them." First they met Cow. "What's wrong, Cow?" asked Mouse. "I lost the cap to my soap bottle. If only I had something to cork it with." "Well," said clever Little Bird, "Cow, my dear, if you give us some milk, we'll give you a wire." "A wire?" "Yes, for blowing bubbles with your soap." And Little Bird twisted the loop of wire into a loop and dipped it into the soap and blew bubbles. "Wow," said Cow. So Cow traded the milk for a wire, and Mouse and Little Bird went on their way. Next they met Bear. "What's wrong, Bear?" asked Mouse. "These bees won't leave me alone. If only I had something to swat them away." "Well," said clever Little Bird, "Bear, my fine fellow, if you give us some honey, we'll give you a cork." "A cork?" "Yes, to close up the hole of the hive so the bees can't come out." And Little Bird popped the cork into the hive to keep the bees from coming out. "Excellent," said Bear. So Bear traded the honey for the cork and Mouse and Little Bird went on their way. Soon they ran into Squirrel. "What's wrong, Squirrel?" asked Mouse. "I can't get my nuts into the tree. If only I had something to carry them up with." "Well," said Clever Little Bird, "Squirrel, my friend, if you give us some nuts, we'll give you a fly swatter." "A fly swatter?" "Yes, you can use it as a catapult to throw your nuts into your nest." And Little Bird bent the fly swatter in the ground, loaded it with nuts, and let it go. The nuts flew through the air and landed in the nest. "Cool," said Squirrel. So Squirrel traded some nuts for the fly swatter, and Mouse and Little Bird went on their way. Finally, they met Chicken. "What's wrong, Chicken?" "I dropped the piece of cake Mouse gave me. Oh, if only I had another piece to eat." "Oh dear." "Well," said kind Mouse, "Chicken, dear Chicken, if you give us some eggs, we'll give you an invitation." "An invitation?" "Yes, to Little Bird's birthday party. With your eggs and Squirrel's nuts and Bear's honey and cow's milk, we can make another cake. Invite everyone and we'll each have a piece of cake." "Yay!" said Chicken. So Chicken traded 2 eggs for the invitation and ran off to tell the others. And Mouse and Little Bird went on to Mouse's house. Mouse and Little Bird worked all that afternoon, and together they made a cake that looked and tasted even better than the first one. After everyone was given a piece, Mouse gave Little Bird one last present. "You're such a clever mouse, and you're such a kind bird.